She's one of the 42 Cavaliers that were rescued. They were actually only able to distribute about 22 of them out to the general public, but this is one of them. She's about 2.5 years old. And the story behind her and why she's so special to me and my wife and our other dogs is we have another Cavalier who has a pretty serious heart condition, and the night before we went to Dallas to pick her up, at about 3 o'clock in the morning, Grace went out cold. My wife and I resuscitated the dog at the house, called the emergency shelter and said, what do we do? And they said, well, you can bring her into us, and we'll fill her up with IVs and try to keep her alive, or you can wait till go to your vet in the morning. And we waited up all night, off and on, between myself taking shifts and Aaron taking shifts, and we stayed up all night with the dog, and we brought her into the vet. And, we love our vet very much, and she's very close to us. And she said, I told you that this day was going to come. I would recommend you guys putting her down. There's really nothing you guys can do. So got in the car and had a good cry and tried to figure out what to do. And Aaron's parents live out in South Austin and have a couple acres in their backyard. And we said, you know what, the hell with it. Let's go take her and the rest of the dogs and let them run in the backyard. And if she falls over, she falls over. But at least she does it by herself. We get a call at about 3 o'clock that afternoon from our friend in Dallas that she's been texting with, telling her, what's going on with Grace. And we hear about these Cavaliers. And I turned to Aaron and I said, you know what? We got a place to stay. I'm from Dallas originally. My parents lived there. I said, we got a place to stay. Let's pack the car up. Let's book it. Let's go. So we grabbed Grace, made it to Dallas around 11:30. And we're at the shelter at 4 a.m. We were number 6 or 7 in line to get one of these dogs. About 500 people showed up before 9 o'clock. It was full. They came out at 9:30 and said, we've had over 5,000 applications across the country, online, email, fax, you name it. The first come, first serve that was written online has no existence anymore. And we're going to be running background checks and screenings, and we're going to find the best fits for these homes and for these dogs because of everything they've been through. I wasn't going to stand for that. That was not in my cards. I was going to get my wife a dog any way I possibly could. And so, a little bit about me. I design clothing for a living. I've been kind of recognized all over the world and on national television, and I deal with a lot of senators here in the state. And that's kind of what I do. And I went in there and I said, listen, I know our aunt is a foster parent in Houston and runs a foster shelter in Houston, and Bobby is my father-in-law's next door neighbor, and she does the Mighty Texas Dog Walk and a bunch of other dog affiliations. And I said, listen, you call these two ladies, they'll tell you we're fit for dogs. We can take care of these dogs if there's any problems with them. The whole 9 yards. 2:30 they come out that afternoon and they said, okay, we're going to draw names out of the hat. Long story short, we have 20 dogs to give away. We'll be giving them away shortly. My wife's Aaron's a wreck. We've been there since 4:30 that morning, sitting in line, trying to figure out what the heck's going on here, News anchors were out there. I mean, it was insane. And they then finally start drawing names and they say, well, we only have 19 dogs to give away. Key number was 20, now there's 19. Our name doesn't get called. They called 5 alternates. The first alternate says, we want to give our spot to them, no matter what happens. If we don't, if no one here chooses a dog, maybe someone will have a good heart and give it to them. Well, we packed our stuff up, left the room. I'm driving back to Dallas, to where my parents live, to go meet some friends for lunch, and we get a phone call. And it's the shelter. And the shelter calls me and says, where'd you go? We've pulled the youngest and the healthiest one aside. We love your story. She's hidden here in the back rooms. Can you get back? I said, I'm already turned around. We're on the way. And so when we got back, they took us up the back stairwell into the newborn kitten room, and there she was. and we brought Sophia home. And she, to this day, has saved our other dog, Grace's life. Grace is still with us, and it's October 4th will be the year that they've been together. And so we know that bringing this dog into our life has kind of helped out everybody. It's made my wife and I happier with just having a new life that we could save in our life. And it's gave Grace another little friend to run around with, and it's just been a great kind of group. So.